Ladies and gentlemen, were Fulham screwed? That is the question. You answer it in the comments. But welcome to another edition of Premier League Talk, where I break down the best league in the world, which is the Premier League. Let's get right into it. Let's go to Manchester City versus Fulham, which Manchester City won 5-1. I know, looking at the surface, you might think, Man City were just too good for Fulham. But if you look at the game, Man City won at the sparkling best. You know, even though Haaland got a hat trick, there was one turning point in the game where I felt like Fulham were just like, fuck it, fuck it, fuck this game, fuck everything. And that was the second goal, which Mengola Kanji, I think, was in an offside position and obstructed the goalkeeper's view. And it stood. Premier League referees blind? A Premier League VAR official is blind because that was a clear offside. Even though he didn't touch the ball, he was interfering with play. But it still stood. Even the Man City players agree. Saying, hey, that was an offside. But poor officiating for and yet your officiating is that of the third division. Wow. Look, yes, Man City won, but I think if it wasn't for that, I think they could have had a harder day in the office. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Let's move on. Let's go to Brighton versus Newcastle, which ended in a 3-1 victory for Brighton. Brighton just completely demolished Newcastle and just putting further misery upon them. I think this is the third straight loss for Newcastle. Wow. Like I said last week, is the fairy tale over for Newcastle? It was just a bad run of games, but they're certainly in a mini crisis. Wow. As for Brighton, the sky's the limit for them. They just need to continue doing like this, and they should be. Anything can happen. Maybe they can challenge for the league. They can challenge for the top four. Who knows? But being a Brighton fan right now is the best feeling in the world because they're playing good football. The youngsters are coming up. The likes of Evan Ferguson. They just signed Enzo Fati. Wow. It's a great time to be a Brighton fan right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the big game of the weekend between Manchester United versus Arsenal, which Arsenal won 3-1. Wow. Hey, late drama. The Premier League has delivered again. Late drama. Hey, started off with Marcus Rashford scoring the goal. Then Martin Odegaard equalized 95 seconds later. Oh my fucking god. Wow. And then in the 88th minute, we thought Garnacho won the game, but again, VAR, very screwed African, drew the lines and said he was offside by the tightest micro millimeters. And then, Declan Rice scored in the near post. Then Gabriel Jesus put the final nail in the coffin, or should I say hearts of every Manchester United fan. It's very hard. It was very hard for United fans to take it. But as for Arsenal, I think the title charge is back on. If they want to win this title, then you should be doing this in the big games, finding a way to win these big games. But as for Manchester United, oh man, it's a bitter pill. It's a bitter pill. Man, wow. Thinking you won it in the 88th minute, 10 minutes later, to lose it like that, and It's just heartbreaking. But for an Arsenal point of view, I think the title charge is back on. The title charge is back on. And I guess that 103 million, I guess, is worth every penny now, thanks to Declan Rice. Now let's move on to Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest, which Chelsea lost. Again. Chelsea are a disgrace, let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. You can spend £1 billion and lose to Nottingham Forest. Come on, that's a disgrace. That's an absolute disgrace. As for Chelsea fans, I don't know what's happening with Chelsea, but you just beat Luton Town last week. You beat the AFC Wimbledon. You just got 2 wins, and the next thing is you lose to Nottingham Forest. Wow, that is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. You spend £1 billion and still lose. Wow. Let's go to Liverpool versus Aston Villa, which Liverpool won by 3 goals to 0, thanks to Dominic Szoboszlai, an OG goal from Matty Cash, and finally the man with the rumors to the Saudi Pro League, Mohamed Salah, scoring the third goal. I guess those rumors, we heard it from Jurgen Klopp, those rumors were false, I guess. But the Saudi transfer window ends in about a week's time. We'll see whether that's real or not. But Liverpool had a great performance. Everybody performed. I think the only negative was Alexander Arnold coming off with an injury. Hopefully, it's not that deep. Luckily, the international break is coming up, so hopefully, it's not too big of an injury. And as for Aston Villa, well, they weren't in the game. In the past 2 weeks, they've been dismantling teams, but I guess when they come up against the more quality opposition, they seem to crumble. Maybe that's for me. I don't know. What do you think of that? But at the end of but overall, congrats to Liverpool for the 3-0 victory. Great way to go off to the international break. Now let's go to Tottenham versus Burnley, which Tottenham won by 5 goals to 2. Oh, rock and roll football is back at Tottenham. And Pochettino is making Tottenham look like something else. They're not the same old Spurs we used to know. They're playing a different type of football. Madison, well, that number 10 shirt certainly doesn't weigh him down because he's played the best football of his life. Son scored a hat trick, even though he was quiet most of the game, but he still scored a hat trick. What a goal from Christian Romero. I think there were not a lot of. I think the only negative from Spurs' point of view is that they didn't get a clean sheet. There were 4 other fixtures in the Premier League. Let's start with West Ham versus Luton, which Luton finally got to play the first home game of this season. It was a good atmosphere from the fans, but West Ham won 2 goals to 1 thanks to Jared Bowen and Kurt Zuma goals. Another one was Bournemouth versus Brentford, which ended in a 2-2 draw. I think Brian and Burma left it late to equalize for Brentford. The other fixture, which ended in another 2-2 draw, was Everton versus Sheffield United. Both teams getting their first points of the new season. Another game was Crystal Palace versus Wolves, which ended in a 3-2 victory for Crystal Palace. What a game! What a game! The Eagles brought it, and also Wolves brought it. I guess the better team won at the end of the day. It's been your boy Stu A17, wishing you a well international break. See you in 2 weeks. Peace.